Hi, Weather Joy here with your South Coast weather recap and forecast for Sunday, January 25th. Let me just check if it's recording here. 2026. Just had to check the date there that it's 2026. Going out to you guys in the future. 7 generations out and beyond. That was not a Nazi salute. That was just looking out into the future. And going out to all the spirits and beings. And I do like the people around here too. So going out to the people. If anyone happens to be listening. The spirits and beings, the plants, the animals, minerals. My little part. My little... I'm not going to say gift, but my little... I'm not going to say obligation. I'm not going to say much. Anyway, before we get started, I'd like to take this opportunity, as always, to thank and acknowledge the first peoples of this land, the First Nations. It's a beautiful land. Beautiful surroundings. And... look forward to integrating our communities more together, because I know there's so much there and so much love to give and share. So what I can do. Okay, so our last forecast. Sorry, bud. Our last forecast. Let me have a sip of my Corona Cero. Was pretty good. So the dominant player really has been, for the past week or so, this high pressure built up over the coast. We talked about it last forecast. Over here, winds rotate around high pressure like this, and over here we've had low pressure, and so there's a ton of cold air coming down through central Canada into the States, all that sort of stuff, going right down to the southern states. Over here we've been under high pressure. Now this is basically a winter heat wave, a heat dome in a sense, where if you look at the temperatures and the alpine temperatures, some of them got up to 10 degrees. Beautiful sun. We didn't expect as much fog as we actually got. We got more fog than we thought, but it was just on the interstate here and into Vancouver. So Vancouver was quite foggy for a good stretch of 4 or 5 days, maybe through the 21st. Not so much out here. It was one of those drier ones. I could almost name this to be not a heat dome, but a fog dome. But it really just sits on top, locks in that moisture, if there is moisture. Anyway, this sort of did back away as we got into the 22nd. A little system, a little old, not just a weak front came through from the west-northwest with cloud on the 23rd. Where are we now? No, that was the 22nd. And then once that came through, we had high pressure kind of rebuilding here, but also rebuilding from here. And there's a bit of a northerly flow. So this next high pressure that came in for the 23rd and the 24th and the 25th today, a little cooler. Not cold, but a little cooler because it's a combination of the two. Frosty mornings. We had frosty mornings before, but these were mornings have been a little bit more frosty through Friday, which is the 23rd, 24th, and 25th today, Sunday. Alpine temperatures dropped down to not seasonal, still kind of warm because of the source of this, but clear skies. Fairly sunny, a little northerly cloud drifting through. There's all that air going down that way. So we're Sunday, and this is going to last into tomorrow, this high pressure. But we're going to see some cloud moving in, because out here, this will become the main weather maker for the next week. And this is low pressure in general out in this part of the Pacific. This is going to draw systems and a number of systems, pulses of systems, up from the west-southwest, southwest over the next week. Dry for tomorrow as this high pressure hangs on. And as we get into Tuesday, by Tuesday afternoon, evening, I think it is the first pulse that comes through. Winds will pick up tomorrow southeast, and then we'll get, as these pulses go through, storm pulses, lots of rain Tuesday night into Wednesday, all day Wednesday, maybe a little break of Thursday, another hit for Thursday evening, Friday, maybe a couple more on the weekend for Saturday, Sunday. I mean, that takes us to the end of January. So this last week of January will be a wet and mild one since the air is being sourced from down here. So we're back into this mild flow, and really, I was looking at the forecast for late winter, early spring, probably late winter. It does not look good for the snowpack. As I looked into my crystal ball, this was a while back, I didn't mention it, but yeah, it just looks kind of warm and wet, similar to maybe 2015. If you look back at those records, we'll see how that pans out, but all being spun up by the low pressure out here. And the high pressure kind of sits down here. We may even see this rebuild next week, but it's just forcing this this flow from here. So not good for the snowpack. We may see a little bit more surf coming, but it's been a nice stretch of warm, dry weather. And we've seen lots of light as the evening sky lasts a little bit longer, the light lasts a little bit longer, and the moon has been beautiful as it's come through new and into the crescent, and right now we're at the first quarter. So it's really been nice to watch that in the winter time with the fading light and the evening sky. Thank you for these gifts. Thank you for this life. Thank you for allowing me into your space. And as always, may the forecast be with you.